Hello, welcome back to the cabin. We've got another reading of book 3, Home is Calling by Grandmother Gentle Bear. And we left off at the end of chapter 2 where Grandmother had a encounter or a sighting and made her rethink her safety in the village. So before we start reading on chapter 3 and 4, we've got some Sasquatch art here. This October is Sasquatch month. So far the story is a lot to do with Sasquatch. We've got book 1 and book 2 here joining us for the reading of the third book of 3. We've got some healing sage burning, and of course our country food is with us. And wouldn't be complete without hot cups of tea. Easy. So let's begin on chapter 3. Thinking of family, theirs and mine. Warm, sunny spring mornings that have the birds collecting twigs and dry grasses for their nests, singing their spring love songs and flirting with each other. I spent a better part of winter writing, and it was good to write some of my adventures and tales on the trails on paper. Someday my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren will read the words I write and recall the old stories, retell the stories with love, and remember that it wasn't all bad. We were family, living through the ups and downs and experiencing life. Sometimes not so great, other times wonderful, amazing, and would leave you in awe. And each spring life is fully renewed, another year to live a good life. I hear the sound of laughter on the wind. It comes and goes with the breeze. It's been singing to me over the past few days, almost like music. A harmony with Mother Nature, Mother Earth, and Father Time. Suddenly there's a crashing in the woods across the lake, and a large, tall pine tree falls between the trees and comes to a crashing halt. No wind, no clouds, just soft blue skies with hints of smoke from a faraway fire. I watched for what seemed like a really long time at the shadows moving through the trees in the forest across the lake. They seemed to be stacking fallen dead trees. They know I'm here, I think. Yes, they do. They have been watching me for many months. I've seen the big footprints on the soft shoreline and in the snow. And I hear them, sometimes just before dark, but many times during the day. Their calls and howls echo through the forest and the valley. Loud pop sounds and knocks that some say the knocks are made by mouth, not by a stick hitting a tree. And sounds that come and go and can be near or far away. Sometimes you hear whispers, and the hair on the back of your neck electrifies and stands up. That's when fear creeps in and you won't want to get to that. You want to get to the safety of that cabin. These encounters are happening almost weekly. Some sightings like shadows, today, tomorrow, a couple days in a row. And some are long sessions of me watching with my binoculars from a distance. I continue with my daily chores, comforts, and cups of tea, but I'm not comfortable anymore. I'm alert and aware, and it's exhausting. Yeah, it would be exhausting to constantly be on your guard. Today is a good day to take inventory and do some spring cleaning. I'll air out the cabin and burn some cedar and sage and give it a good cleansing. Behind me in the water, I hear splashing in the distance. I turn to see a huge dark figure coming out of the lake with a deer slung over one's shoulder, limp and dead. I try to see what he's doing and where he's going. I can't take my eyes off him. I try to think that they're my neighbors. We hunt, they hunt. They have families too, and have caring ways at times. But like a big old grizzly bear, you don't turn your back on them. You stay aware of your surroundings, and don't trust them. They are wild animals that cannot be tamed, nor do they want to be tamed. Even the old lone bear hasn't come around for a while, and the spring birds that have usually migrated by now are absent. I've been staying close to the cabin these days. The fear has set in, and the only thing left to do is to leave. Paddle along the lake shore and beyond towards home. Chapter 4. Rescue team pretending they're not. It's midday when I see two canoes paddling across the lake. My heart is pounding in my chest. The excitement is electric. I put the kettle on the fire and stoke it a bit with a couple of new logs. The sound of the sound of laughter fills the air, and I see some familiar faces. A little bit older, but familiar just the same. Calling out, "Aho!" and waving. It's my 3 oldest grandsons, paddling like grown men and coming across the lake with speed. What a sight for sore eyes, as my mother used to say. They come ashore and leap out of the canoes and run to hug me, still boys at heart. My heart. We are so happy to see each other, some tears of joy, and we settle in for some fresh fish over the fire and of course some hot tea. The stories of our home village are told with great enthusiasm, and I'm overcome with guilt. Guilt that I've been gone so long. But that passes, and I'm back laughing with these three capable young men. The first thing I ask is, how did you know how to get here? And how did you know I needed you? And they all said the same thing. We listened to all your stories, the mountains, the river, and the creeks, and the valleys with many a portage and camps along the way. Then we smelled the smoke from your fire for the last of the trail, and here we are. I swell with pride to hear and know that they listened and heard every detail and used those details like a map, more than capable and exactly what I need and prayed for. And here they are. My rescue team, they don't know it yet. We talked around the fire until late into the night. Our laughter and excitement echoes across the lake and through the valley, and in an instant we all fall silent as a blood-raising howl followed by screams and echoes sent shivers across the lake. I can tell by the look on their faces, by the firelight. I see fear and that their innocence is gone, and this is their first sound encounter, and it just happened. Little Hawk asks, "What animal makes those sounds?" We all look at each other to see who will answer. Then I quietly say, "Sabe." As we gather our things and quietly retreat inside the cabin, excuse me, I throw a few logs on the fire outside and the boys get the wood stove going right away inside. The howling and screams drift with the wind and finally faded just before the sun came up. And I just realized that I haven't heard the drums for many months, and no teepee sightings in the fog. Even the air seemed different, maybe thicker, more dense. We stayed in our bunks long into morning, and then I got up and made tea, quietly shuffling around inside the cabin until I opened the door and stepped out. They were right behind me, not sure what to expect, but I knew I had to get them out of their fear. In no time, fish were on the line, then on the fire, and cups of tea were soothing. That's when I told the boys to join me around the fire to talk about what we heard last night. We felt safe together, and I let them talk first. There were many questions. It was a new reality and a new discovery. Sadly, they will never feel the same in the bush or forest, but they are aware now, and that will make them safer and smarter. I tell them there are species roaming around that are part human and part animal that live in the wilds of many areas. Some keep their distance and remain wild, and some live on the tree lines of humans and curiously watch. and some are vicious and dangerous, even known to kill men and kidnap women and children. They peek through cabin windows and almost scare us to death. And once they come around, they keep coming back. We will make a plan to leave in a day or two. And they all agree. And we finish our breakfast. Well, that's the end of chapter 4, and that was frightening. So they've all had an encounter together, a sound encounter. And we'll find out in the next couple of chapters what else is about to happen. Thanks for joining us here for tea and the old stories by Grandmother Gentle Bear. I really enjoy them, and I hope you do too. Please like and subscribe, and you can hit the bell on the subscribe, and then you'll be notified every time there's a new video. It's October and Sasquatch month, so look forward to more artwork for Bigfoot and more stories. And of course, every Friday we're reading at least 2 chapters from the last book of 3 in a series. And this one is being called home. So that's where we're at with that. And of course the tea was good. Thanks for joining me. See you on the next one.